You got a lot of hate from women for saying that she wants to cook for her man. Let's review it.
I just want to say that I've been getting a lot of hate because I simply said that I want to cook for my man.
And what's wrong with that? Why would somebody have any kind of hate for anybody that said they're going to cook? So you save a lot of money, not going to those restaurants. I mean, it's very economical to cook at home. So I don't understand.
Why are women hating on me? Like, I thought that being feminist meant that you respect every woman's choice. But I'm getting shat on and I'm getting DMs and I'm getting comments that are so rude, and it's all from women. Simply because I want to cook for my man. Explain.
Okay, I will explain to you why they're hating on you. Because we have a culture in America that's very anti-traditional family. We have a culture in America that says it's okay to hate straight-laced alpha men. We have a culture in America that says gender roles is wrong. So when you're trying to be a traditional woman, you understand? And you're trying to cook for your man and you're trying to be feminine and look like a lady, and sitting there and allow him to lead, and you walk in a submissive role. They don't want to see too many women doing this because that is going to put pressure on them to do the exact same thing. You understand? So a lot of these women also don't have a man. Because all that man hating they have, and, the women that say cooking is slavery, which anybody in our community say that, the ancestors should torment you in your sleep, because you cooking in the kitchen is nothing compared to what my ancestors went through in the plantation fields of America. That is completely wrong for any woman to say that's slavery, because the slaves didn't have a choice. Anyway, they don't want that to spread, because a lot of men right now, just men in general in America, they're tired. They're upset, a lot of them, and a lot of them that, have decent jobs and they can afford to travel, they're doing that. A lot of them have said hell no on the game plan that's happening with a lot of modern women in America. So the women who are, trying to do the right thing, like this woman, she's saying, hey, I'm trying to cook for my man, I'm trying to do the right thing. They're going to constantly attack you, but you have to understand, misery loves company. These women aren't happy, because if they were happy, they wouldn't be in your DMs pissed off with you, because they'd be worried, but they'd be at the house of their man. Only thing they got, halfway related to something close to anything is some freaking toys. That's what they got. They don't have a man. So they're pissed off with you that you got a man. You actually doing something to keep him.
Yeah, you see, they don't want this truth to be a trend in all ways, in all type forms or aspects. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Howard Kakadash, send double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. The reason a woman like that will get backlash from other women is because we live in a society where the truth has borderline been eradicated, especially on the books, legislation-wise, judicial-wise, socially, and entertainment. All of that, lies are constantly being pushed forward, and wickedness is, while righteousness and truth is basically on the back burner, sit on the side. And since it's been like that for quite some time, but however, through the Holy Spirit, the Lord has bestowed the Holy Spirit down to his prophets, starting with our apostles and elders, right, a Great Millstone and the other elders out there. Here we are using the Bible, we are proclaiming the truth. And as the world continues to decline, because the evidence has shown that the way of wickedness, that lifestyle does not work, truth is not only being declared, but truth is starting to take place, starting to take effect. And these people who love darkness so much, when they see the truth start to manifest itself, the light start to manifest itself, just like cockroaches, when they see the light, they scatter. They don't like it, right? They want to flee to the darkness. So seeing that which is traditional, aka righteous, or the closest thing to righteous, of course, the closest thing to biblical morals and standards, to see that being pushed and advocating as something positive threatens the world we live in, which is based upon lies, and the people who follow it and the people who believe it, such as like you could say in the world of women, these women are literally fighting and trying to teach others not to be traditional, not to be submissive to their husbands, and not to be married, and to encourage divorce. They celebrate you when you split from your man or whatever. You get rewarded for that. So all that which is negative is being rewarded. But those who are trying to do the right thing according to the scriptures, the best of their ability, and teach as well, that irritates them, because like even Phil said, they don't want it to be a trend, because they know that eventually in the long run it's going to cause them to get in order, and they don't want to get in order. See, it's no different from when we were in slavery under the Greeks and Antiochus Epiphanes, and one of the first things he did was he made us basically he forced our people to forget the laws, right? And you're going to read that not only did he force us not to keep laws, he set taskmasters over us to ensure that we was not keeping the truth, because just a little bit of truth will spread. And they don't want that. The society we live in, the society of darkness, even these women and our own women don't want that. I'm pretty sure the women that was in her inboxes was all Israelite women, so-called Black, Latino, Native American women. But even as you heard Phil say, that's a threat to them, because they don't want it to be a trend. They don't want it to be a thing, because a little truth will take over. It can spread. Right? First Maccabees 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings, and sacrifice, and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars, groves, and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should leave also their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness, and profanation. So not only was he saying you got to keep our laws, but he was literally saying you must defile yourselves. You must eat defiled foods. You must offer up defiled animals. You must pollute yourself on the Sabbath day. You could literally be sitting around, let's just say you sitting on your porch, right? It's Sabbath day, you just sitting on your porch. We're going to read, he sent taskmasters over to actually sit there and watch. They wanted to ensure that you were sinning. And what they'll probably do is you just sitting on your little porch. Them taskmasters will walk around, or overseers, they'll walk around maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours, and they'll be like, hey, you know what? You just been sitting here this whole time. I don't know if you're trying to keep the Sabbath day or what, but you need to get up. You need to get up and profane yourself. Go dance or go do something, anything. You need to prove to us that you are on our page. That's what they did, because they could not stand. They knew that if anybody was to keep the truth, then eventually the laws and the truth would become a trend. The laws and the truth would then be retaught to our people, and that our people will again be established as a righteous people, which spells doom for them, as it reads, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, because it's always done with an agenda. The agenda was for us to make a habit of it, and he wanted us to love doing it to the point to where we forgot about it completely. And when the truth resurfaces, what happens? It's a threat to their society, so they get mad. So just this woman, just going on her going on TikTok or whatever, and saying, I want to cook for my man. I feel that that's whatever she said. I want to do it. This is my role. Or maybe she just said, look, it's just something I want to do. I feel happy of doing it. So you're going to get backlash, a lot of backlash, because again, this world is full of darkness. And what you're preaching is that reflects righteousness and holiness and true tradition, because true tradition goes back to the scriptures, goes back to biblical morals and integrity. And integrity is moral uprightness. And gender roles play a part of that. So for you to actually go out there and basically speak the truth is causing an uproar out there. And there's plenty of women now who get a lot of backlash, they just go out there and they talk about, oh yeah, I love my man. I'm submissive to my man. I do everything he wants. In fact, I do it before he even asks. This is what I do. This is what I have joy in. I like doing it. So never mind the fact that what she's saying, not only is it right, but she's basically saying, oh, I love doing this. I just love doing it. Nobody forces me. This is my joy. That, of course, would piss off a lot of these ungodly women because, again, that is promoting truth. Esau Edom has planted a society based upon lies and deceit and wickedness. Feminism, because you got to understand, they worked extremely hard to destroy the family, especially the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American family. They work really hard to destroy it. They even have stuff on the books that reward you for splitting up your homes. Women get rewarded for splitting up their homes. Women get rewarded financially for dividing the families. They do. The entertainment encourages that. All of these commercials, if you just look at all the commercials and ads, it's all promoting what? Women, empowerment. No matter what it is, I don't care if they advertise in a car, some type of insurance, a home, it's always some woman in there who's got it all together, who looks educated, who looks smart. It's to push that idea that, yeah, you can do it. Really, it should be a man doing it. They don't actually show a family, or if they do show a family, again, the woman is the leader somehow. They're advertising, I don't know, some type of school, like school textbooks, school ads, anything on the website, they show a woman doing it. Or even in the army, they show a woman doing it. She's in the army, and at the same time, she's a single mother, so she's so strong. And yeah, they'll show the man in the background, but she's basically the leader. She's the winner of the ad. It's all intentional. It's to push that vibration. So if a man comes along and pushes the same vibration about manhood, being a man and being a leader, it's not gonna be received well, because what you're speaking is more tradition, aka more of the truth, aka more of the scriptures. And the society, especially Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has worked really hard to destroy that. So for you to teach that, you're gonna get backlash, because they don't want the truth to be a trend, but it's becoming a trend. All thanks to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It says, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So you had to prove to him that you were basically going to become a heathen spiritually. You didn't have a choice. In the self-same manner, he wrote to the whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people. See, they wanted to make sure you was doing that. They wanted to make sure you couldn't just be some Israelite chilling on the Sabbath day because it's the Sabbath day, or even because you're tired and you just sitting there. They will watch you, and they're gonna be like, look, you got to get up and you got to dance. You got to be naked. You got to go dance with this. You got to prove to us that you're not keeping the Sabbath. That's what they had to force you to do. That's what they forced our people to do. Oh, you got newborns? Yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna keep checking on your newborn sons, and we better see that piece of foreskin on their rods. It better still be there. If not, that child's getting put to death. The mother's getting put to death. The father's getting put to death. Whoever did it is getting put to death. And appointed overseers of all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice, city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, then wheresoever they could flee for secure. Now the 15th day of the month of Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation, upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. So they had to actually prove to these overseers, the Greek overseers, I comply. I abandon my laws. I abandon the truth. So I'm going to actually build an altar in front of my house. It's just like when you drive by and you got people who got, it may say, Trump banners in their yard, or they may have the American flag, or they may have Biden or Kamala Harris or their mayor or whatever it is. That's an indicator like, yeah, I'm this is the team I'm on. We basically have to do the same thing. It says that when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, because they performed a book burning, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. So if you even got caught with the book of scriptures or reflecting or saying anything that consented to the law, it was a problem. They wanted you to become a full-fledged heathen. And that's all I got to read on that. That reminded me of this quote here made by George Orwell. And he said, in the time of universal deceit, which is the world we live in right now, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Very true. And I looked up the word revolutionary. It means relating to or involving rebellion against a ruler or government, revolutionary leaders. So again, going back to his quote, in a time of universal deceit, meaning in a time of feminism, in a time of gender wars and destruction of the households, like I said, this man has worked really hard to create legislation to destroy our families. And here you are, Miss, I don't know, Proverbs 31 wannabe, right? In the righteousness sense, I'm speaking as if this is how they're speaking. Like, here you are trying to come and dismantle all the work we did. You trying to pull up all the work we did from the roots. You trying to teach our women to have positive vibes toward her husband. You trying to teach our women to be more traditional and to be loyal to their husbands. And that can spread to the children, and that can become a trend. And we work too hard to destroy that. So in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth will be a revolutionary act. That's why you're going to get the responses you get. So it says relating to or involving rebellion against a ruler or government, revolutionary leaders, being or bringing about a big or important change, a revolutionary invention. And what is that? What is that big and important change? Well, it's about the truth becoming a trend. And they don't like to see it. It's even in their legislation. It's actually illegal in the states to practice polygamy, which means a man can have more than one wife. And that's biblical. But it's against the law for you to do that. But you know what is in the law? You can marry the same sex. You can marry an animal. You can marry an object. You can marry a robot, a doll. Now, why is it illegal for polygamy for a man to have more than one wife legally? Because they don't want that to be a thing. They don't like to see that. And there are works around it, but they're going to try to make your life hard if they find out. Hell, you already see in different parts of the world. I think that's over there, some part in Africa, which those are Israelites, by the way. But it was one man, I think he had like 64 wives or something like that, 60 or 80 some wives. And he ain't bothering nobody. Everything's just going well for him. I don't know what he do, but he obviously got enough to support that many. And they tried to lock him. They locked him up, and they said, according to Islam, you can only have 4 wives, so you got to divorce 72 of them or something like that. So you can only have 4. And he was basically like, hell no. And even his family, his wives, was like, let our husband go. Now, that's not even in their books, because he told them, he said, prove to me in the Quran where it says I can only have 4 wives. Me personally, I believe it. I think they're going off of Jacob and his 4 wives. But why does that offend them? Why does that offend Esau, Edom? Well, because, again, they don't want that to be a thing. They don't want to see that righteousness. Why would that offend anybody? If it's biblical, why does that offend you? What I look like getting mad at seeing a man who got 2 women and they in order and they in agreement? Who just sits there in fury? Those who are ungodly, those who are wicked. Women will get offended at that because they don't want that to be a thing. They don't want that to be a norm because it's really truth. It's just tradition. It's actually a part of biblical tradition. It's a part of our tradition. What else is illegal? Oh, they basically make it impossible for you to raise your child the correct way. You can't spank your child, at least not in public. They say that's abuse. When the scripture says basically, in our law, you're supposed to beat your child. It was a custom in our days. It's still a custom in most places. Even in like the Italians do it. But hell, if you did something that was wrong, everybody in the neighborhood, your auntie, your niece, I mean your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, grandpa, wherever house you went, they figured out what you did, they'll whoop you. You go to your next family house, they'll whoop you too. The hell, the whole neighborhood, basically call you out for what you did. That's a normal thing. But Esau Edom, in his legislation, basically make that illegal. What else you can't do that's actually righteous, and they'll try their hardest to break it down if they see you trying, because they don't want that righteousness to spread. Well, like I said, let's say if our women it was a trend that our women dressed in, beautiful, modest apparel, to reverence their husbands, and that became a normal. How mad these women to get who walking around in leggings 24/7s and tight clothing, revealing clothing. They're gonna get mad. They shouldn't get mad, but they're gonna get mad because they're gonna see that eventually they're gonna be looked at as somebody who's selling. You walk down the street, everybody down there, everybody on the street is wearing modest clothing, and you don't want wearing this skimpy, revealing clothing. It's gonna make you feel like you the prostitute or something, which you are anyway, and you don't want that to be a thing, because eventually you're gonna have to fall in line. That's what really these women are upset at, and are upset at that woman is about. So they know that they can see this society is on the decline. Feminism is all that isn't working. You got more single women, all these TikToks about how I'm 30, 40 in the dating pool. Here it is, you over 30 or over 40, and you talking about you jump back in the dating pool. What the hell is that? And you can see that it ain't working. So you know that you got to basically fall back to traditional ways for it to be successful, because that was the most successful. You can say whatever you want about it. It was the most successful method to secure a home and to play your role. That's why you're mad, because you can see that eventually you are going to get back in your role, and you're mad. You don't want that to be a thing. Well, too bad. This is Bell and the Dragon. This is with Daniel, right? And Daniel was the king. He was the second. The king loved him, and he basically tried to get Daniel to admit that, like, oh yeah, these guys are real. And Daniel was like, nah, bro, I'm not real. He's like, there's only one true God. So he went around testing them. He's like, look, no, this is a real God. Look, he even eats when we leave food out for him. And Daniel's like, no, this is a setup. Okay, when we leave, they, basically hide the food, take it, and it's a deception. But the king actually believed. He actually believed in these guys. And he's like, no, these are real. So Daniel had to prove to them that they weren't real. And as the king got revealed, like, yeah, you got played, or yes, this isn't real, he would destroy it. He said, well, destroy it then. Destroy it. And what happened to the people who knew that Daniel was responsible? Well, here's what they said. This is verse 27. It says, then Daniel took pitch, fat, and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. This he did put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragons burst in asunder. And Daniel said, lo, these are their gods you worship. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation, and conspired against the king, saying, the king has become a Jew. What does that mean? They're like, hey man, who is this dude running around here destroying all our false gods? Who's this around here trying to uproot our customs? Who's this around here trying to establish truth in the land? What did they get mad at the king? They said, you a Jew now? AKA, you believe in the truth now? Huh? You one of them? That's why you got these laws on the books that prevent you from doing these things because they don't want the truth to be a trend. They're going to get mad. Israelite man walking around with beards on their faces. Anything else, I can't think of that we do normally. And Esau, Edom, it angers them to see it happen, because they know that it'll be a trend. Heck, they don't even like to see our people do well. They don't like to see our people have their own businesses. They don't like to see them gathering. Here it is. They can have a permit for the gathering. Everything can go well. They can do everything by the book. It'll still bother them. That's when the whole barbecue Becky, all that happened. Why is that? Because they don't like to see it. They don't like to see, because they know if we left alone, what'll happen? We will spread just like the truth. It's the same thing with the truth. The wicked in this world, the ungodly, both Edomites, the heathen, as well as our people, especially our women, don't like to see the truth become a norm. Okay? They want to fight against it. Only those who are ungodly will fight against it, just like they got mad at the king here. They basically forced him to throw Daniel into the den of lions. All right? He says, when they of Babylon heard it, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, the king has become a Jew, and he have destroyed Baal, he have slain the dragon, and he put the priests to death. You see, it says, so they came to the king and said, deliver us, Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thine house. So you can see, going back to, let's read that quote again. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. So don't be surprised when you get this type of response, as far as women out there, or anybody, if you speak the truth, or they see you doing things out there that's actually righteous, because this is the world we live in. But luckily, the Lord said that the truth will become a norm. And as much as you don't like it, too bad, because it's going to become a norm. Yep, 2 Ezra 6, verse 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth which hath been so long without fruit shall be declared. That I hope is edifying. I say shalom.